zetu wa sekta ya majini tumefanya maamuzi hayo na kamati ya usalama.
After the talks with the mining sector, we have decided with the security committee to suspend, but we did not close this mine. We want people who will follow the laws and regulations to operate.
Wakafanya hizo shughuli za uchimbaji, waje wafanye shughuli za uchimbaji kwa kuzingatia misingi hiyo ya kisheria.
And the government has presented in Parliament recommendations for the country's 5-year National Development Plan for 2021-2020, 2025-2026, which has the goal of building a competitive industrial economy with focus on increasing economic growth from 6% in 2021 to an average of 8% by 2026.
Maendeleo ya watu. Eneo linajumuisha utekelezaji wa miradi.
This will cater for improving people's lives in education, health and social welfare, water, clean environment, urban planning, human settlement development and climate change. On improving human resources, it will include programs that aims at developing skills from primary education level to higher education level. These efforts will help address issues of self-employment.
Utekelezaji wa mpango wa pili, sekta binafsi inatarajiwa kuchangia jumla ya shilingi bilioni 48.
Private sector is expected to contribute 48 billion shillings by 2020. Private sector has contributed 32.6 billion shillings. This has shown that if the private sector will be involved effectively, they can contribute more. One among challenges that they are facing is lack of government consistency in making decisions towards the investment sector. That is why lately there has been a decrease in investments. The committee is advising the government to improve capacity of monitoring contracts for excellence of the private sector.
Hatuna sheria mpaka sasa hivi ya kusimamia utekelezaji.
There is no law that stands for development plans. If MPs are discussing plans without implementation laws, things will remain the same because there is no law that guides us towards that direction.
Tutungi sheria ya utekelezaji, manake baadaye tunashindwa kujibana, yani tunashindwa kwamba tutabanana wapi, kwa sababu kama kutafanyika budget reallocation, hakuna sheria ya kutuguide.
A few days after President Samia Suluhu Hassan directed the Ministry of Natural Resources and Tourism to address the increase of people in conflict between Conservation Authority and community at Ngorongoro Conservation Area, the Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism has outlined the strategies they've set to resolve the challenges.
Na wakati inaanza kulikuwa na wakazi 8,000.
Ngorongoro started in 1959 with 80,000 residents and the population increased. We need to make an assessment involving stakeholders, citizens, local government authorities, councils and international stakeholders of Ngorongoro. So when we come up with a solution, it should be the one that involved everyone.
Vijiji ambavyo vimekuwa vinafanya vizuri kwenye maeneo hayo wameanzisha WMA kwenye maeneo.
All the villages that are performing introduced MIA in their areas, and as the ministry, we gave you our support. But other villages started farms and residents in those areas. So once you plant in the roots of these animals, they will eat your crops. If you build, they will disturb you. And the village chairman will call the minister complaining about the animals in your areas, who was the one who was supposed to look into the proper use of the land.
Afu baadaye unapiga simu wizarani, Mheshimiwa Waziri, wanyama watatuvamia. Anayepiga simu nani? Ni mwenyekiti wa kijiji.
Tanzania Bus Owners Association TABOA has called on President Samia Suluhu Hassan to completely restructure the entire tax collection system in the transport sector so as to address challenges which led some bus owners to move their businesses out of the country.
Mfumo wa utozaji kodi kwa unaotaka kutumiwa na mamlaka ya LATRA hauko sawa kwetu.
The system of collecting tax used by LATRA is not friendly. We ask the government to look into it again. We are ready to pay tax brought by TRA as they are the ones who collect tax. We do not understand there are a lot of tax levies. We are asking the six-phase government to look into this matter.
Tatizo lilikuwa kuna mifumo mpaka ujaze float, yani wewe.
The problem is you own the bus and you have to buy the passengers even before they book for the seats. That is how you feel in the float, a thing which is not correct. I need to operate like those owning shops, just like how they do with TRA and the tax collection. LATRA should remain with giving out license.
Ambao sisi tunataka tufanye kazi na TRA ya kukusanya mapato na kulipa kodi zetu.
We want to work with TRA in collecting tax. We are wondering on what is LATRA doing. Its work is providing license to our buses. We are asking LATRA to stop because it is not their job. They should leave it to TRA. Even Mama Samia Suluhu said it, that TRA should be friendly in tax collection for the development of our country.
TRA iweze kufanya kazi inayostahili.
Following use of plastic bags ending today, the 8th of April, the National Environment Management Council, NEMC, has been directed to follow up and ensure the bags are not being used anymore.
There are other areas where it receives 1,500 millimeters of rain a year. Our meteorologist says in those areas now they get 750 up to 800 millimeters of rain. Our elders used to see it raining all night for 3 days as they went to plant crops, but now the rains are no more.
Baada ya kuona mvua imenyesha usiku kucha, siku tatu anaenda kupanda mazao.
From Tanzania Meat Board have conducted an operation in Kahama Municipal Shinyanga region and discovered over 30 unlicensed butchers that were opened and operating illegally in residential areas.
We have passed through a lot of butcher shops, and the truth is our butcher are not in good health condition, and the certificate has to be on the shop. Some say they left it home. How will I be sure that you have checked your health? If we allow everybody to do it, then the consumer health is at stake. It is our responsibility to look after the consumer health. That is why we insist on the use of proper equipment. There are slaughterhouses for goats, pigs, and cows that cause people to lose income. That is why meat prices do not match. We are even eating donkey meats.
Members of Parliament, candidates from Chama cha Mapinduzi Party, CCM and ACT Wazalendo Party in Muhambwe constituency, Kibondo district, have listed their priority areas while campaigning to 120,000 voters expected to vote in the by-elections on the 2nd of May.
Chama chetu cha Mapinduzi kimeandaa mwongozo mzuri kabisa unaonyesha.
Chama cha Mapinduzi has prepared a guideline on how to improve social services, including roads, water, education, health and power. I am asking the citizens of Muhambwe to go out and vote for Chama cha Mapinduzi and choose Dr. Florence George Samizi to be your representative in our Muhambwe ward. The subdivision of Kibondo town has no health facility. All the Kibondo town citizens are being treated at the district hospital that is serving 19 divisions and 50 villages. And you have a CCM councillor. I want to work with him to build a huge health facility in Kibondo town.
Jumuiya ya kimataifa inaleta waangalizi wa uchaguzi Muhambwe.
The international community is bringing the election officials in Muhambwe. The whole world is watching, and the new president cannot let the world hate her because of a single word. That is why when CCM brought objections, the election administrator rejected the request, because this president does not want the world to see her suppressing democracy. That is why we are doing good in election. Do not be afraid to vote.
That's all for the national news. International news is next. And now in international news. At least 11 people have been killed in a northwestern town in Myanmar as security forces cracked down on anti-coup protesters who fought back with hunting rifles and firebombs. The toll of civilians killed by security forces has gone up to more than 600 since Myanmar's military seized power from the elected government of Aung San Suu Kyi on February 1st, according to the Assistance Association for Political Prisoners. And police in North Kivu in the Democratic Republic of Congo have curbed protests of citizens who were calling for the removal of the United Nations Organization Civilization Mission in the DRC, MONUSCO. The protesters claim that MONUSCO has failed to stop killings of people in Beni.
We are tired of killings in Beni and Goma. That is why we want MONUSCO to go back to where they came from. As Congolese, we shall demonstrate until our country earns peace that it deserves. Nothing will stop us. We are not scared of the police anymore. They have already detained us, beat us. Nothing is new. We shall demonstrate anyhow. If they are cowards, we are not cowards. We want to hold peaceful demonstrations, but they are turning the movement to chaos. We have a motive to fulfill. We shall do just that. I am supporting demonstrators because I am also a citizen of Beni. As a member of parliament, I must join forces with my voters who took me to the parliament. How can I turn a blind eye while it is true that there are problems of peace in Beni and the whole of North Kivu? We have tried everything possible to restore peace in the area, but none have been fruitful.
Residents of Gatumba area on the outskirts of Bujumbura city in Burundi have been affected by floods caused by heavy rains in the country, which has led some people to abandon their homes.
Where I come from, houses have fallen. Even my house fell. My children are seeking shelter in other people's places. I don't know where we are going to sleep tonight. We're deeply affected by the rains. That is why we're calling on the government to help us.
And U.S. President Joe Biden has unveiled a series of executive actions addressing gun violence in his first major action on gun control since taking office. President Biden has also nominated David Chipman, a former federal agent and advisor at the gun control group Giffords, to be director of Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives. The move comes in the wake of 2 mass shootings in March, events that have become common occurrences in the U.S. And that is all for the international news. We'll be back with business news after this short break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digitalization.
Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production, infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and now in business news. The Confederation of Tanzania Industries, CTI, has said significant investments made by various entrepreneurs has made it possible to increase production of good quality packaging materials. CTI's comments come on the last day of using substandard plastic packaging materials in the country.
As producers and consumers, I take this opportunity to say that it has reached a point in time of knowing what is needed to ensure that this law is implemented so that we could take drastic measures.
Mna viwanda ambao mmejitokeza kuzalisha vifungashio vyenye viwango.
Some industries are ready to produce good quality packages. I congratulate them for taking their products to TBS for standard approval. As the government, we shall do everything possible to protect them because some of neighboring countries are producing packages below the standard.
Cashew farmers in Mtwara region have urged the government to revive the Cashew Nut Development Fund so that it can address challenges which have contributed to decline in production of the crop every season.
I want to ask Honorable President if it pleases her in the cashew nut sector to return the fund to develop cashew nut crop in Tanzania, because the fund really helped farmers to get inputs. If you look at the production after and before the fund was removed, you can tell the difference. From 106,000 to 51,000 in 2020-2021. Reason being not getting inputs on time. The government said it would provide inputs now. I don't know if it's free or it's not. We do not know when. This is the 4th month. If you hand over the inputs to someone, people know that they have enough sulfur. Time is running out and we have not been given yet. We have great faith with Mama Samia and her speeches brings hope.
A day after fuel prices went up, stakeholders in the transportation business in Dar es Salaam have said the situation will affect their operations.
The impacts are huge because fare prices are still the same. As drivers, we are incurring losses. Fuel prices are higher comparing to what we charge our customers. 1 liter of fuel goes up to 2,123 shillings. As drivers, we are really affected by the sudden increase. If we increase fare prices, how are we going to get passengers? This situation is very difficult, while in the meantime, we have families to take care of.
That's all for business news. Sports is up next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him and he's going to be dragged through the second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lend.
And now in sports news. Simba Sports Club Communications Officer Hadi Manara insists the club wants to prove a win against CAF Champions League defending champions Al Ahly in Dar es Salaam was not a fluke.
Heavyweights met at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in Dar es Salaam in match day 2, and Wekundu Msimbazi won by a solitary goal scored by Mozambique international Louis Mikison to ensure his team remained top of Group A. With the two sides set to meet again on Friday, the vocal official insists Mnyama are ready to prove they can win anywhere and that their first-round triumph was not luck. The East African heavyweights have already sealed their place in the last 8. They made the first position their own with a game to spare, and the outcome of Friday's game will have no impact on the standings.
And Yanga Sports Club interim head coach Juma Mwambusi has said they are ready for Saturday's mainland Premier League match against Kinondoni Municipal Council FC. Here's more.
KMC will be Yanga's first test since a 14-day break that was introduced in honor of the late President Pombe Magufuli. It will also be the first assignment for Timu ya Wananchi and a new man since Cedric Kaze left in early March. Mwambusi, who has been leading the training sessions at Average Town, has explained how they've planned to encounter the Dar es Salaam club at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. On his part, midfielder Deus Kaseke has revealed they are aware of how good their opponents are, but urged fans to give the necessary support.
Mungo FC Secretary General Ali Seleman has trashed rumors the club is intending to permanently relocate to Dar es Salaam. Here are more details.
Finalists have been camping in Dar es Salaam for some time, something that has made some fans restless. However, the official insists there are no such plans and no reason for the supporters to get worried. We're not planning to relocate from Ruangwa to Dar es Salaam, as some people are saying, Selemani said in a recent interview. The official has further denied reports that some star players have refused to stay in Ruangwa and are preferring somewhere else.
Takumi Minamino has aired his surprise at being allowed to leave Liverpool during the winter transfer window and offered a hint towards his future plans after being loaned out to Southampton.
Japan International was facing fierce competition for places at Anfield when the decision was taken to let him see out the 2020-21 campaign with the Saints at St. Mary's. A move elsewhere offered obvious benefits to all concerned, but it appeared at one stage as though the 25-year-old forward will be prevented from spreading his wings outside of Merseyside. Having been snapped up by Liverpool in January 2020, Minamino opened his goal account for the Reds early on in the current campaign.
Leonardo Paris Saint-Germain's sporting director believes he will soon be in a position to deliver a positive update on contract talks with Neymar and Kylian Mbappe.
The Ligue 1 giants have been locked in extension discussions with two superstar forwards as they approach the final 12 months of their respective deals. Neither have been giving much away when it comes to their future plans, but PSG are determined to ensure that free agency in 2022 is avoided as lucrative fresh terms are put in place. Brazil international Neymar has seen a return to La Liga mooted from the moment that he completed a record-breaking transfer to France from Barcelona in the summer of 2017.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to bring you this bulletin, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Vya ITV, Radio 1, Capital Radio na Capital Television wanakuletea ofa kabambe. Pata fursa ya kutangaza nasi kwa bei ya punguzo kabisa. Kwa matangazo ya televisheni, nunua matangazo manne ya sekunde 30 kwa shilingi ,500. Kwa upande wa radio, matangazo madogo madogo, yani casual advert, kwa shilingi ,100 tu. Ofa hii inahusisha pia vipindi vya dakika 5 na 10 kwenye television na brand talk kwenye radio. Kwa maelezo zaidi wasiliana na idara masoko kwa simu namba 0658777144 au 0676777147. Ofa hii ni kuanzia tarehe mosi Aprili 2021 hadi tarehe 30 Mei 2021.